Barack Obama has become the first sitting US president to visit Cuba in 88 years. His trip marks a monumental shift in relations between the two countries. Now, in an effort to normalize relations with Cuba, the Obama administration has reduced restrictions imposed on US companies hoping to do business on the island. Because a trade embargo remains in place, US exports to Cuba stand at only $200 million. By comparison, China's trade with Cuba stands at nearly $2 billion. But US companies can now ask for special authorization to operate in Cuba, and tourism could be an area of strong growth. Starwood Hotels has already announced a deal to manage hotels there, and Airbnb has been granted permission to offer its services. Agriculture could be another industry to benefit. An Alabama factory is to become the first American manufacturer of tractors in Cuba. Now, Cuba imports 80% of its food, a market that's potentially worth $2 billion. And small businesses will profit from an increase in the amount of money they can send to Cuba from the US. Cubans in the US are allowed to have bank accounts there and can earn unlimited income for work performed for US companies. Well, to unpick some of that, let's speak to Craig Copetas. He's in Paris for us. So, Craig, good morning. This is not only a good day for diplomacy, but also good for business.
Well, don't start passing out the Cuba Libras all that soon. You know, not everything down there is rum and Coca-Cola. I mean, everyone's looking for the Yankee dollar, and this is a great deal, but the U.S. is way, way behind other countries in investments down in Cuba. And you talk about, for example, Starwood is the big news today. The hotel chain is going to be doing some hotel work down there. What people don't mention is that the Chinese insurance company Anbang has just made a $13 billion offer to buy Starwood. And right now, Chinese investment in Cuba is $2 billion compared to about $200 million in the United States. The U.S. is very worried about Chinese investment there. There are Chinese espionage listening posts. And then you have another issue, which has to do with the balance between human rights and investment. Now, the last time we've seen something like this was in the old Soviet Union when it collapsed, and all kinds of U.S. investors rushed in. They made joint ventures in which the state controlled 51%, the private investor controlled a lesser amount. And what happened, another repressive regime came to power, and most of these joint ventures, if not all, were vanished overnight, and people who were involved with them were put in jail. And critics of what's happening in Cuba right now, of these deals, are pointing to this. Now, I wouldn't be that doomsaying about this. This is really terrific for the U.S. because Cuba, the whole social structure and connection between Cuba and the United States is a lot stronger. But the place to really look for investment right now, beyond the Airbnbs and the new 110 flights a day, is in the power grid. Cuba has really, really poor electrical power systems, and anything that's going to grow down there is going to require a complete re-infrastructuring deal. So that's where to look. Power grids, telecoms, all the other stuff, people to people, opening up bank accounts, absolutely terrific. But like I said, they're looking for the Yankee dollar, but you know, I wouldn't squeeze the lime in the Cuba Libre yet.
We'll hold off on the drinks, Craig. For now, for that analysis, thank you.